Hello my friends, welcome to another arcade showcase. I was thinking a little bit on how to show off some arcade games, and I decided that I'm going to focus, initially at least, on games that can be played both by yourself and with other people. Because I personally find it a lot easier to jump into an arcade game, figure out what the heck is going on my own, and then get in with other people. I find it very intimidating to just jump in when I know nothing. So we are going to take a look at the Keystone card game. And I'm going to show off two different modes. First, I'm going to show off the... How do you do this? We're just going to do arranged teams with AI. Because this game both allows you to play the multiplayer. I don't remember if ranked works with AI, but I know arranged teams does. And then we'll show off Nemesis Mode after that. This is the stock standard version of the game. Normally you'd play with 2 people on your team, 3 people on the other, for a 3 versus 3 experience. But we are going to play with the AI at the beginning. The AI uses pretty stock standard decks, nothing like super crazy. They just kind of pick a Zerg or a Terran or a Protoss deck and that are built by the creator, and those are what they work with. It is pretty simple. The game is, I would say, a little bit chaotic, but that is fine. Oh, they even GLHF. That is wonderful. We are going to go for... what deck? We're going to go for Big Z, because I think it is a decent showcase of what's going on in this game and doesn't have anything too crazy in it. So, this is the basic Keystone interface in this card game. As you can see in the top right, we have minerals and we have gas. Well, we have 1 mineral and no gas. Right now we are mulliganing, so we draw an initial hand, we can send any number of cards back. We're going to send the expensive stuff back because we can't play it right now, and then draw something more expensive. Wonderful. So, the way this game works is every turn there is a play phase where you select 1 resource to gain. You can gain up to 8 minerals and 3 gas, and then you can play any cards that you want. And then it moves to a battle phase. In the battle phase, all the actions that were played activate. Any card that you play that does not have the rush ability will sit here for 1 turn, doing nothing, but allowing your opponent to see it and react to it. So what we're going to be doing at the early game, this is a deck that is focused on some very big Zerg energy, combined with an infested little combo. So we're going to hold on to our infested for that combo, and we're just going to try to draw some stuff with our changeling. The changeling is a detector that morphs into an enemy unit, and as long as it is not detected by them, it will just sit there and provide detection for us. Unfortunately, they send out an overseer, so it is not long for this world. However, the changeling also draws a card when it's played, and I wanted a card. The enemy sent out a combo of 2 defensive Templar and 3 defensive Vipers. 2 different players did that, and we are going to counter with our Longblade Alpha. It sends 1 Ultralisk, and it has a launch ability, which is when you play it. If this card is the only card you played this turn, it attacks from the cliff, which is up here, with Rush, which means that it doesn't have to do this blue thing. And we're going to combo it out with our ally, who sent a Kerrigan that was waiting around. So this is going to come on over, and because it's an Ultralisk, it is going to soak these High Templar really well, run right into these Baneling infested and start soaking them really well as well, and that was a good move. In order to follow it up, we are going to send some Frenzied Zerglings. Sends 12 Zerglings, they have upgraded speed. When you play it, you draw a card, and they have Rush. I really like the Rush ability early game. It allows you to react to what your opponent is doing, and just provide some support to Kerrigan. It looks like our ally also sent one of these Longblade Alpha. Are we just going to win? Our opponent sent out like High Templar and Vipers, but they didn't send anything like super powerful combat-wise. Interesting. I was hoping this game would be a bit more dynamic, but it might be a one-sided crush. We're going to send some Infested Marines and Volatile Infested. There we go. It looks like the ally has figured out to send some stuff, but we have like a group of Dark Templar from one of my allies doing something. Not quite sure what that is. Kerrigan might be going down here. The opponent built some cannons, has some mutas, and we have our ultras attacking their Keystone. That is pretty darn good at this point. We're going to send another wave of Frenzied Zerglings into the fight. Oh! And they did a little burrow ambush over here, so they're going to delay our forces a bit. as they actually start to clean everything up and secure their side of the map. They have some buildings on the field now. Buildings spawn units every single turn, or put a card that spawns units into your hand every single turn. They're very, very good. And we are going to send a heroic unit, the Hunter Killers, 4 heroic Hydras. Heroic units have double life, double shields, +3 armor, and 50% increased attack damage. So even though it's only sending 4 Hydras, they're very, very powerful. Our Infested are slowly making the way across, and these worms that our allies sent are actually pretty strong and might allow us to keep the push going. We don't have a whole lot of stuff being pushed at this point. However, we do have these there's a lot that's going to be coming in this next turn. A Roshagal, a Kerrigan, some Hydras, Dragoons, an Aldaris. Yeah, that is a good amount of stuff. Now, how do I want to support my allies? I think that I'm going to send a Primal Worm and a set of Infested Marines, because I have a lot of Infested in my hand already, so I can keep the combo going. They sent out a Dark Swarm. These Defilers put Dark Swarm down on the field for them. They're not going to take range damage for a bit, and they might be able to at least hold on for a while. They got some stack defense up while that was happening, and they have a good number of units now coming out. The Tarask is what we just drew. Send 1 Ultralisk. It is heroic. When killed, shuffle a Tarask Revival card into your deck. Sounds darn good to me. I believe Tarask Revival card sends another Tarask. So our allies send stuff out. Our Hydras, only one of our Hydras survived. I'm not sure what happened. These 3v3 games can be very chaotic because things just automatically happen on their own. But in a 1 versus 1 scenario, it's a lot easier to keep track of what your units are. We're going to send some Lurkers. They burrow upon sighting an enemy and then will sit there forever. And of course they attack while burrowed, and then some Brood Queens. Brood Queens have spawned Broodlings, and then they also have a detection ability, I believe. Our ally who's sending out the Kerrigan and the Roshagal is doing pretty well. Oh, Roshagal is about to die though. And these Vipers are actually pretty menacing. These ones sent very early into the game are harassing our carriers. Hopefully this doesn't die. Our Tarask and our Kerrigan should be able to provide support for it as it retreats. There's no micro in this game. I cannot manually control. So we just kind of have to hope that things work out. And we're drawing all of our infested stuff, but not our infested payoff, which kind of sucks. It is just when you build a deck with a bunch of cards around 1 combo, it's going to happen. Ooh, Disruptors. Not bad. Not bad at all. We have a pretty monstrous push here. I think we're going to send one of these. I'm not super happy about it. I really need to draw my Infestation Pit in order to make this work. And I can't spend too many of these. I think that everything else here has to be kept. We got some Corruptors coming in. This carrier was saved, and we might just have the damage to win here. Maybe I should go all out and just try to lean on the opponent, because we have a very nice push. No, I should hold back. I should hold back. We have some very powerful Protoss units. We have a good deal of Ravagers supporting. We're going to start taking out these buildings, which is great. The Corruptors are harassing their Overseers and stuff. They're not going to have detection in case we have like another Roshagal or something. Here is the Infestation Pit. Builds Infestation Pit. It grants a 99% chance to revive your slain units as infested units and infested civilians. So now we can start sending out a bunch of infested. And remember, the infested that spawn from the infested are infested, which means that it's going to be an infinite trickle of very, very tiny infested guys until this gets dealt with. It's not the strongest thing in the world initially, but it becomes very, very strong as time goes on. And the way this combo works is we have these aberrations. It gains 10 life when it spawns for each one of my infested that died this game, up to a maximum of 3,000 life. It used to not have a cap and you could get up to like 17,000. 3,000 still pretty good. So as our infested move in, die, get replaced, continue to tank for our allies, they are going to buff up these aberrations until we can send 2 6,000 HP aberrations out. Until then, we'll have to send something a little bit smaller like the Leviathan. And at this point, I think the enemy is going to have a hard time dealing with our pressure. There's going to be an infinite number of infested coming down. They have some lurkers and we don't have detection yet. But we can send a changeling to fix that. That will detect as soon as it gets over here. And then we can send a Brutalisk. It sends a Brutalisk, and when it launches, it deals 1,500 damage to the toughest enemy air unit. So it fires that glob. I don't know what it took down. I wasn't really paying. I was like trying to follow the glob, but I didn't see what it hit. And hopefully these big, powerful units are just going to close out the game pretty soon. We can send 6 queens. Why not? The geriatric ladies. They're very strong, though. They have transfuse. Oh, they got a mothership. Oh, now all their stuff is cloaked. Thankfully, I did send that detector just a second ago. Oh gosh, where's our detector? This could be really bad. We have Dahaka. Dahaka is returned from my discard pile to my hand if any of my primal units kill a unit, and I don't have a Dahaka. So this is a primal unit. I have a decent little primal sub-theme in here as well. So hopefully what we can do is send Dahaka, and once he dies, we send out the Longblade Alpha, which then will get a kill and bring Dahaka back to our hand. Dahaka is pretty darn strong. Screw it. 6 more queens. Why not? Go get them. We have a bunch of stuff burrowed for an ambush. They have Brutalisk. Our Brutalisk is just chilling around, though. Uh-oh. The enemy's really pushing us back here. This mothership is causing us a lot of problems. These worms are primal. We're going to send the double aberration. They have 2,730 HP. They should be... Oh, they're big. 3,005 total HP after you get the 2,700 edition. And Dahaka was just taken down. The mothership went down because of the queens, and now we can see all their stuff. We drew the Tarask revival, which sends up another Tarask, but we want to send these primal worms, I think. It's going to summon 2 primal worms right on the front line, who are primal. That's why they're called primal worms, and they got a kill very quickly, which brought Dahaka back into our hand. And what we're going to try to do with these massive infested, these recurring Dahakas, these giant Chunguses that provide tanking, is just constantly lean on our opponent, repeatedly and aggressively, until they fall over from our value. I thought that was going to happen earlier, but they keep having these great abilities, like amazing Psy Storms right there, taking down a ton of our infested. Of course, the infested just respawn, but it buys them time. Let's send an infested platoon and a primal Dahaka. This Dahaka is not very good. It's a early game unit. It's just a tiny little Dahaka instead of the really big one. It's probably not going to get a kill. The thing is, it draws a card, which is really nice in the early game, but we only have 10 cards left in our deck, which means I don't really want to be drawing them right now. So I had to play it with another unit because its ability is draw a card if it's the only card that you played that turn. We're trying to avoid that situation. Now, our worm is still alive, our Dahaka is still alive, so these powerful primals I'm going to hold on to, and instead we're just going to send a Tarask out. How's Dahaka doing? He's got 1 kill so far. Let's double that, bud. Yeah, 2 kills. Ooh, 4. Man, he's crushing. And we're providing support for these carriers, and then we get our strongest unit, the Overmind. This card replaces our objective, the Keystone, the thing that if it dies, we lose, and replaces it with the Overmind that adds random cards to our hand every turn, and then doubles the amount of cards that those cards send. Go get him, Overmind. Oh no, my Tarask! They played an assassination card that sends out DTs to kill our strongest target. Oh, that hurt. And then the DTs retreat. We're gonna have to send out Dahaka again. Oh, what do we do? Yeah, send some Hydras. So the Overmind, just 2 free Hydras, why not? And stuff like that is going to happen every turn. We might want to actually build up a couple of those in our hand for a bigger push. But right now, I want to keep the pressure on. If we can start taking down these buildings, we're going to be in great shape. Sends 4 Mutalisks, adds a raw essence to your hand. This is a primal card. So we're going to hold on to it and go for the Hunter Killers instead. One thing that I like about this game is that if I were playing these primals, it wouldn't be the end of the world, right? They're still pretty good cards. However, I can get those little micro optimizations with like trying to get more and more Dahakas out and that sort of stuff. And I find that very fun. Just thinking every single turn about what I want to do, trying to get as many of these big boys as possible. He's not the greatest card in the world, but he just keeps reappearing, and it's real fun. So they're going to send out their little orbs with those disruptors that don't hit anything. Thankfully, they don't do friendly fire, and we are on top of their buildings. We want to keep the tempo going. Let's look at what they have. They attack the toughest enemy ground unit with unlimited range, then move to the defensive area. That doesn't seem that good. Actually, that seems really good for assassinating a specific target to get Dahaka back. We're going to send out a Brutalisk. It's going to assassinate the biggest air unit. They don't have any air units, so it doesn't really matter. However, it is just a Brutalisk at this point, and anything is good. I sent some Scourges out that took out all their detectors, and I think we have won this. Ooh, yes. Infest a random opponent structure card in opponent. Oh, infest a random structure card in opponent's hand. Then 10 volatile infested emerge from a random enemy structure, destroying it. So we're on top of their stuff. Let's put a bunch of Banelings out, and then we'll get these shifting mutas. It blew up right there. The Banelings took that out, took down another building as well. Really, really, really good. Some Phoenixes are coming over. Nice. Nothing for them to lift, but that's fine. And this is the raw essence. If your primal units or structures kill a unit, upgrade this card. Well, we're going to have to wait for that then. And then, did the opponent have... Yeah, they've got this scary upgraded Stalker. And if you got a scary upgraded Stalker, then these Ravenous Guardians should target it down. Or they're attacking something. Oh, there was a Kerrigan over here. That's being attacked with unlimited range by these Guardians. Well, that's nice. It's not dead yet, but we did get Dahaka back from something else. Okay, opponent. We're going to have to kill you soon. So as these buildings fall, they get less and less free spawns every turn. We still have our huge number of free spawns from our buildings. And finally, they've been overwhelmed. The game is over, and we... Oh, okay. Just send whatever out. The game is over, and we are victorious. Cool, cool, cool. So now you can see, after you win, you get rewarded with money. You can use the money at the store to buy various packs. Let's just buy a first contact pack. Let's see what that does. Oh, look. And then you just open it and you get these cards. Unfortunately, because I have every single card in the game, they just get converted into essence, which can be used to craft other cards in the collection menu. It is very similar to Hearthstone's interface in that regard, and it is very simple. Now let us take a look at the Nemesis mode. All right, so the second mode of Keystone, and in my opinion, the much more fun version, not much more fun, but it's my favorite version to play, is Nemesis mode. We're going to give this a go. Nemesis mode, instead of being a player versus player or player versus AI experience, is a co-op or single player versus boss monster experience. And it is pretty cool. So we're going to jump through this loading screen real quick, and then I will be able to show it off. We're probably going to play the lowest difficulty, just like show off the introduction to what it can be like. Mostly because I don't want to get absolutely Hulk stomped. That would be really embarrassing. So let's fight against Zagara, and on the basic difficulty. So what's going to happen is Zagara is going, instead of the opponent being a Keystone, there's going to be an opponent Zagara, and she is going to start with various abilities. So in the base version, there's going to be a bunch of eggs on the field, and she's going to hatch an egg every single turn that sends 3 lings, in addition to the fact that she's a Zerg player and is going to be playing. As you win more and more, you unlock these different challenge modes, and more stuff happens. So for example, once you get to challenge 2, each turn a random non-defensive common or uncommon card, whatever. It adds random cards to her hand every turn, effectively. So she gets a lot of very cheap cards to send out constantly. And then you get towards the end, and she gets a spawning pool as well that starts sending out swarmlings. So these ramp up in difficulty a lot, and definitely on the higher difficulties, you probably want some friends to play with and a specifically designed deck to fight these boss monsters. I don't have any specifically designed decks for them right now, so we are going to go... Let's try our sacrifice deck. This is a Protoss deck around Tal'Darim stuff. So as you can see, instead of one of these, there is a Zagara boss monster and a bunch of eggs. We're going to veto away this. Malash is definitely a later game unit. And then we're going to start getting our income up. And you know what? Phoenix is a great card to send early on. He is a elite zealot, so he's going to do a ton of damage. He has a ton of armor. And when he dies, he puts a Dragoon into my hand, which is also very powerful. Because he's an elite zealot, I think that he's going to... He does 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 24. So he two-shot Zerglings, which is going to be very nice against the ability right here to send lots and lots of Zerglings early on. And under Phoenix's protection, we're going to build a gateway, which is going to send one zealot just every turn. It's only one. A single zealot that is non-elite is not super good, but it is going to accrue value over time, and it's going to be very, very important for our strategy later. Oh, we're getting into it real good. So first of all, let's send an Observer and 2 Warp Prisms. Each of these Warp Prisms are going to go and deploy over here. There's a whole power mechanic that works on buildings. Doesn't matter for our deck whatsoever. What matters is building 2 of these. Oh, Zagara's sending a lot of stuff. I gotta be careful. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And unfortunately, because Phoenix died at kind of an inopportune moment, it actually messed with stuff a little bit. And yeah, that wasn't great. So we had too many cards in our hand because we got a bunch of warp in cards. And then we lost a card that we drew because our hand was full. That was my mistake. We're going to send a Supplicant Gateway and another Phoenix. This time, Dragoon form. Get him, buddy. Just to try to hold off. If he can soak Banelings or whatever, that is great. I think that Zagara is kind of an early game rush enemy, so as long as we can hold off and start getting some real powerful stuff, this is going to be the way. Now here's how my deck works. It is based around using these sacrifice abilities. Sacrifice your weakest ground unit to ascend your toughest ground unit that is not fully ascended. Repeat 4 times. So it is going to take our toughest unit, give it 300 shields and 6 damage. And the way we're going to fuel this is by using these warp-in cards. It is going to rush out a couple of gateway units, and then we're going to make them big. And this is going to be Super Phoenix. So now our Phoenix has 1,360 shields, 3 shield armor, and is hitting for like 40. Now, it is definitely all in on a very, very powerful Phoenix card. However, it is a very, very powerful Phoenix card, and we're going to support him with everything that we have. Just send all of our boys out. And if he dies, then we can try again with another unit that we're going to power up. Probably these ascending votaries? Votaries? Is that someone who votes? Are these Tal'Darim adepts very, very active in the world of democracy? I'm gonna say yes. This is a great push we have going on right now. Phoenix has 10 kills already. What a monster. We're going to send the Blades of Shakuras, 2 Dark Templar, 2 Stalkers, and 5 Zealots out to fight. And then this is kind of our late game card. It is Alarak. He sacrificed Supplicants to Oh, they changed him. Oh. This deck doesn't do what it used to do. Oh no. Balance changes. This game is actively and still currently balanced. And this card has been reworked. And he was kind of the linchpin of my strategy. Got it. So we're going to send the card that sends 1 Colossus, 2 Stalkers, 5 Supplicants. And we're going to send them to go. The Supplicant always costs as your weakest unit for sacrificed abilities, which is pretty useful at times. Doesn't really matter right now. We just want to be able to fight back against these huge number of units Zagara is sending out at this point. Zigzags herself is still in the back. She doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but she has 2,500 HP. So she's going to be a hard fight. And Phoenix has 27 kills at this point. Unfortunately, he is running out of shields and health. So he's probably going to die. However, we have another card that sends a different Phoenix. And this card, every single turn that the Dragoon hero from it is out, we get a Warpin into our hand. And every turn that the Commander guy is out, our heroics get 15% damage and 1 armor. So we're going to send Phoenix to Jim, and Jim is going to buff our other Phoenix, who is then going to hold off so that our Phoenix can come over and help. You know, standard stuff. Oh, I see. So this guy, what he used to do is gain shields and power based on the number of units that you sacrifice. Now he sends 1 supplicant per unit you sacrifice this game.
May your death be swift.
We're just going to send a bunch of stuff out. We're going to sacrifice some of the enemies to get a bunch of heroic adepts. Sacrifice some of our allies. These supplicants, whatever, they don't matter. And just keep the pressure on. And I think we may have broken her. Just keep sending these things. The hero warp ability is great, and Zagara is pissed. She's come to fight herself. 2,500 HP, as I said, is going to take a long time to take down. She's got transfuses. She's much more powerful than the standard Keystone. Looks like Phoenix is going to go down very soon. How do we use it? I mean, I don't think that Planet Cracker is a good idea right now because all of our guys are on the field. We're just going to keep sending stuff out, but I kind of want to fire the Planet Cracker. We could send Alarak at least. He's like a Planet Cracker. Go get him, Alarak. You know, it seems right. And unfortunately, Zagara has really run out of momentum here and is going to be taken down. If this were the first time we beat her, we'd get a huge number of credits for free. Let's fire a Planet Cracker. Why not? We already won. We would be getting a huge number. Oh, I can't. Oh, I wanted to pan over to the Planet Cracker and it didn't let me. Well, that's a shame. I think it gives like $500 the first time that you beat these, and then it unlocks the next difficulty. So it's a huge number of resources and packs you get, and you can use that to build your decks. Keystone is a pretty darn fun game. It is chaotic, not super consistent, but definitely enjoyable. So if you're interested in playing it, you can do it. I think it's on every single server. Very, very easy to get up and run. In fact, I know it's on every server. I've played it there. So thank you guys for watching. If you're interested in Keystone, I hope you give it a try. And if you want to play with someone, you can always join the Giant Grunt Games Discord, head over to the arcade section and start asking about. I guess there's a looking for players section too. I should probably have a looking for arcade players section, maybe merge those two, because that's what it always is. Anyway, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter to you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.